Surviving the Survivor.
And welcome to the inaugural episode of #Karm on Life. And I'd be remiss, Karm, if I didn't ask you, what do you think of the brand new Surviving the Survivor global headquarters set here? What do you think of it?
I think that you only got a quarter of a corner.
And what do you think about #cutout Karm, which is over this shoulder? What do you think? You're always looking over my shoulder, Karm.
I honestly like that cutout. It was a clever idea.
I asked you to get on Zoom tonight and you refused to do it because you wanted to, quote unquote, blow dry your hair. You said you were only going to talk to me through an audio medium. I said this has to go on YouTube. You said you weren't doing it. We fought. Why did you finally relent?
It wasn't a long fight. It was a 2-sentence fight. I am at home sitting here in the middle of a hurricane. It's true. I couldn't, for the first time since August 6th, when Roy got sick, I couldn't go to visit him. I'm feeling blue. And then in the last minute, you kind of, I could be already in my pajamas if I wanted to. It's already 9:20.
This is excellent. Since you're feeling blue and there's a hurricane and it's gloomy and we're not expecting sun in sunny Florida for a few days, I figured that we'd start with a beautifully uplifting topic on #Karm on Life. Now, this is going to follow a format, #Karm on Life. And the questions are always going to be why, what, how, if. And I was given that format by the great Fancy Fiction. So shout out to her, who's been all over the Dan Markel murder case, which we have been covering as well. So for the very first, for the inaugural topic for #Karm on Life, let's talk children and maybe more specifically dead children to cheer everyone up. First question, why did God create a world where children suffer and die? Now, I have to tell the audience, you had a child between me and my sister, the middle child. I was the youngest, still am the youngest child. And that child passed away when I was a mere 3 years old. When I was a mere couple months old and he was 3 years old. So again, the question is, with that background, why did God create a world where children suffer and die?
Are you joking, Joel? Are you joking? What am I, an authority on God and on suffering?
Yeah, I'd like to get your take.
No, I cannot even answer a question of this nature.
Why not?
I can tell you.
Which, by the way, I'm writing a book. Which, by the way, I'm writing a book called Surviving the Survivor, and it's advice from you on life, kind of like Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom, only better. And this is one of the larger topics. We're doing little vignettes here, but you've answered other questions. Why can you not answer this question? And if you don't answer it, then we don't have a little mini episode here.
Well, then we don't have a mini episode. I'm not an expert on God or why God does what God does.
Well, why is there a religion where people suffer, especially young people suffer and potentially and do die?
You have to ask somebody else this question. I refuse to get into this. This is you always start with the easiest topics and go harder later. This is the first. I didn't even know until 15 minutes ago. Word of honor, I didn't even know what you were planning. There is no way I can answer this question. You know what my thought was? It sounds horrible, but it is what it is.
Next question. What is it like for you as a parent, having had a child that you lost after all of these years? It's 50 plus years later.
You know what I was thinking? This is how I created the monster who I am talking to right now as a consequence of that loss.
Karm, if you can't talk about loss, then it's difficult.
I can talk about loss, but I cannot talk about why God does it. I didn't get a license in that.
By the way, we're going to date ourselves right now, but it's important. There is breaking news. Aaron Judge has hit his 61st home run of the season, tying Roger Maris's record. Any thoughts on that?
Yes, Joel. It is just shows me how I messed you up, that you're talking about major issues and you bring in baseball scores.
on to the next question.
I take full credit for your messed upness.
Again, it's why, what, how. So the how is, how did you ever rebound from such a tragedy, from the loss of a son? Obviously, I helped, but what was it?
This is a very good question. And the way I rebound is that I felt that when this tragedy happened, I felt I'm not going to accept this, and I'm going to do something to get out of this situation. And that was my first thought. And I was consoling my stepfather, who was really devastated since he lost the son himself. And I said to him, we are young and we are going to get out of this and it will be okay. We are going through a horrible state now, but it will be fine in the end.
You know, I don't think we ever
And
talked
you
about
are
that.
the end, Joel. I don't know if it's so fine.
By the way, we never talked about that. What did your mother say about this when it all unfolded?
She was worried about me. Mostly worried about me. Of course, she was devastated, but she was worried about me. How will I handle it? How will I survive it?
And your real father
you
was
want to hear
your real
something?
father was gassed in Auschwitz. So this was your stepfather that your mother, my grandmother, remarried, and he was worried for you as well.
Yeah, he lost his wife and son were killed during the war. 8-year-old beautiful boy, and he was very devastated by this news. And anyway, this is what happened, and it was very, 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 very hard. And then I had you, and put too much of my emotions into raising you, and that's why you turned out weird.
I'll take that as a compliment. And finally, if, so we go why, what, how, if you could say something to a parent going through this right now, what wisdom would you impart on them? God forbid someone has just lost their child and they're out there and they're listening and they're looking for answers from a wise, sagacious, shrewd Holocaust survivor. What advice would you give?
By the way, I swear I don't know the word sagacious.
I mean, shrewd.
Shrewd. Wow. I'm shrewd.
Yeah.
What I would tell them, first of all, I would tell them that I totally understand that at this moment they feel devastated. And that, for the rest of their lives, it will be something they have to carry. Right now, you caught me in a very bad time. Can I tell you how?
Yeah, explain. Sorry.
No, but listen, I lost my father. I lost this child. And now I'm losing my husband. He's been sick since August 6th. And
That's my father, by the way. It's my father. We argue today about who is harder on, you or me.
It's very, very, very hard on me. It's very hard. I don't look like it's very hard, but it devastates me. And for the first time, I'm sitting here by myself and feeling terrible. And then you call me up, and then the topic you choose is death. That shows how well you tuned into my emotion.
Dead children. I'm sorry.
What?
Dead children. I'm sorry. I picked this like 3 weeks ago, even though Dad was not feeling well.
This is your definition of Black humor, which I
it's
have
not. I didn't purposely pick it.
I have it in common with you, but tonight I'm not in a humorous mood.
Next week we'll pick a better subject, but
what flower arrangements or what?
In general, what did you think of the first installment of #Karm on Life? Why, what, how, if?
I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think that fancy fiction is very creative, but you chose a little bit of an awkward topic.
Usually it's who, what, where, why, but now we're doing why, what, how, if, and that is thanks to the great fancy fiction. Is there a subject that you would like to touch upon next week instead of dead children?
No, it's fine to talk about dead children. Just don't ask me to become an expert on God and why God does what God does. And because God's ways are inscrutable, or how do you pronounce it? Inscrutable.
Well, listen, our audience is going to have the full-length Karm reactions when I actually publish Surviving the Survivor, the book, and that's coming out soon.
I
But
have
I
to
never
say,
work on
can
it.
I just say one caveat?
Yes. Once again, as I'm wrapping up, you continue. Go ahead, Karm.
Okay. No, it's very important to say this, that it's an absolute mistake on your part and other people's part to believe in two things. One of them is to think that older people are smarter than younger people, or that they have more wisdom, because on many topics we can never figure it out. The second mistake is that, and I forgot what was the second mistake.
Is it a fallacy that older people are wiser?
No, and that we are an authority on God. And the second point is that just because as a 5-year-old I went through the Holocaust, I see the light and I understand what life is all about. It's like an absurdity to think that just because it happened to me when I was 5-year-old, now that I'm 83, I understand life better than others.
So neither being a Holocaust survivor nor being old helps you figure out life.
No, life is very difficult to figure out, as I noticed and you noticed too, I'm sure.
Karm, can you admit that for at least
I can guess certain topics and certain things, but that doesn't mean I figured it out.
Karm, can you admit that even with the subject of dead children, in the 15 minutes that we just talked roughly, that I made you happy and brought you out of your temporary misery?
Actually, you brought me in deeper because, I wasn't thinking of the dead child. And now thanks to you, I have the hurricane, which is gray skies and the windows shaking. I have my husband, who is for almost 2 months now, really, really sick and in danger of dying. And on top of it, now I have to talk about God and why bad things happen to good people and so forth.
Well, they say if you have like a backache, then you kick the person in the knee, then they worry they're thinking about their knee and not their back. So that's what I basically just did.
I see. That's very noble of you. That was a beautiful gesture on your part.
Thank you. Any closing comments, Karm, on this inaugural edition of #Karm on Life?
Yes, I wish I held the secrets and I could share it with our people. I mean, our people who watch us.
Don't ruin the allure. She knows a lot. She's a survivor, both of the Holocaust, of a dead son, of a living son, and that's it. Love you, America.